All right, welcome to the School of Eschatology. I am your proprietor, the lead professor, founder, president, chancellor, all that stuff in one. I am Archbishop Kifa Ben Israel, Doctor of Divinity. So I'm really happy because today we are going to be on a topic that I feel is really important that we need to pay attention to. Now, a lot of people don't pay attention to a lot of things, and they probably, I don't know if they have good reason not to pay attention to stuff, but I just know that I am um, enamored with the way we have forgotten history. We have forgotten how things actually roll, how things really work. To be honest with you, I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed. So yesterday on our Zoom meeting, the School of Eschatology, because we have this version of the School of Eschatology, which is more public, and then we have the private setting that I have for the students only. By the way, you can become a student. All you have to do is email me at Dr. Keefa, Kepha, Ben, Ben, Israel, Israel, the number 77 at Comcast.net. That's all you have to do to become a student. And you can get in on the student sessions, the private sessions that we do. Plenty of them. Okay. Plenty of them. So we want you to in on that, which is on the Zoom uh, platform. Now, the public platform is a little bit different because who knows? I might let it rip. Who knows what we might do? Now, you would have to be sitting under a rock not to know that we are actually living in the end times. Now, there's a debate about that. There's a serious debate about whether we are actually living in what we call the end times. There's a debate about that. And the debate itself is because of the lack of knowledge, if you will, that a lot of people are operating in, or how can I say, flowing in. So there's a lot of people that doubt. They doubt very seriously if we're actually living in the end times. But I myself believe that we are living in the end times. It's so much evidence to prove, to gather into the facts that we're living in the end times. Okay. All right. But before I go into all of that, I want to give my shout outs, as people like to correct me, my shout outs to everyone, uh, that is there. Pastor Rochelle in Seattle, Washington. Goodness gracious, Pastor Prophetess Rochelle in Seattle, Washington. We want to give a shout out to you. Just recently, on my Sunday program, I had a guest on there, and she was so enlightening. I really enjoyed having her, and her name was Pastor Prophetess Glendetta Clemens, all the way down in, I think it's Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I believe it's Pine Bluff, Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, uh, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Apostle Jay Burton, um, Prophetess Lisa Burton. These guys have been a very solid backbone for me for quite some time, uh, supporting all that I do, which is not easy. It's not easy because I come up against quite a bit, quite a bit. So, shout out to the apostle, Burton, and the prophetess, Lisa Burton. Okay. Awesome people. And you guys need to check them out on Facebook. When I get ready to end, I'll give you the proper information and everything that you guys need in order to contact them. Okay, we are going into a document. Yesterday in our class, of course, I have taught on the teaching of the 12, which is better known in certain circles as the diacathy. I have taught on that on several different occasions or pieces of it. Okay. And it behooved me to go into the whole thing. Now, for the sake of the class, the students in our class and on the private uh, uh, network on Zoom, I'm not going to pick up or go back over what I taught yesterday. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go into the second chapter of the diacathy or the teaching of the 12. If you look it up on your Google search, it will have the teaching of the 12. Or you can type in diacathy. Diacathy is spelled Didache. Didache. Okay, my other shout out to all the different presiding bishops across the land that are watching me. We're bringing order back to the body of Messiah, and we're doing it through the power in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. We are definitely doing that. Now, I don't want people to think just because I use the original Hebrew names that they can tag me with the Hebrew Israelite camps. Whole different ball game. I'm just giving you truth. Okay. The diacathy, teaching of the Lord through the 12 apostles to the Gentiles. The teaching of the Lord through the 12 apostles to the Gentiles. The apostles wrote this letter or these instructions for the church. The Council of Nicaea or Nicaea did not see the need to put this in what they call the canon of scriptures. They felt no need to put it in there because, for one, it was a control situation when we started talking about the Council of Nicaea. They wanted to control the narrative of the divinity of Yahusha, or some people say Yeshua, or in the English term, Jesus. They wanted to control the narrative of the Messiah and the works of Messiah, regardless of the Torah, the writings and the books of poetry, which we know to be the Old Testament. They wanted to control the narrative of what was going on and what was written. I want to help you a little bit. So that means that a lot of things that we are reading, especially the book of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, etc. There are other parts to those books. The second books, as we like to call them, are the book of Yasher, the book of Enoch, and the book of Jubilees, along with the apocryphal books, which are first, second, third, and fourth Maccabees. Okay? Want to help you guys as much as I can when it comes down to that, because these are some very important documents for us to understand to get a full picture of the prophetic. To get a full picture of the prophetic. Don't by any means get me wrong. These 66 books of the Bible, not only are they accurate, but they are inspired by the Most High. So they are authorized by heaven. The only problem there is the interpretation. The Bible itself, or the books of the Bible, if you will, were never meant to be translated. They were supposed to be what we call transliterated. Now, transliteration is something totally different than the actual translation. Because in a translation, what you do is you lose meaning, pronunciation, and purpose. So, translation is not always good, people. It's not always good. But transliteration simply means that you have taken what is already defined and transferring it into other languages, cultures, and dialects. Okay? For example, the word elder, when you transliterate the word elder, you get the word overseer, you get the word bishop, and you can also put in pastor. That's the power of transliteration opposed to translation. Because a lot of Christian churches are built on translation. And it's sad to say, but they're walking in a lot of error. That's why people like myself have been risen up in the end time to re-educate, reaffirm, and re-solidify truth in the heart of the believers. That's what I'm here for. I'm going to go to chapter 2 in the Diachothy, in the teaching of the 12. Read it, break it down for you so that you can understand, because there's a call to fundamental teaching. I need somebody to feel me on that. There's a call to fundamental teaching. We've gotten away from the fundamentals of the prophetic. So now that's the reason why we have an upswing of false prophets in the land, because we have neglected or negated to see what people are talking about. All right, let's get into this thing. Chapter number 2, verse number 1. And now, the second commandment of the teaching, because there's two ways. Let me mention that. There's two ways of life. You have the way of life, and then you have the way of death. Two ways in life. You can't get around it. I don't care what anybody tries to tell you. There's only two ways and two paths to go. Two paths. One is life, and the other one is death. Okay? There's a difference between the two. The walk is very different between life and death. But here on the public platform, I'm gonna start you out on the death part. It says, "Do not murder." Hmm, interesting. "Do not commit adultery." Wow. "Do not engage in pedestry." Now, let me explain what pedestry is. Pedestry is the defilement of underage people. In other words, pedophiles. Wow. It says, "Do not engage in sexual immorality." Sexual immorality is questioned because people think that sex is a bad thing. Sex itself is not a bad thing. It's not bad at all. It's the engagement of the perversion of sex, what we have turned it into, the chains and the whips, the bondage, the BDSM as they call it, and several other things that's out there that I'm pretty sure I have no clue about, but I'm sure a lot of you can relate with that. But that was not a God intended circumstance or situation. Help me, somebody. It says, "Do not steal." Do I have to say much about that? Do not steal. That goes from ideas to physical things. That goes to purpose and will. Help me, somebody. Do not steal. People are stealing every day, and for the purpose of their own wealth, their own testimony. This is interesting. It says, "Do not practice magic." Wow. Because I got to read these two and put them together. Do not practice magic. Do not use enchanted portions. People say they still do that stuff. Yeah, it's never stopped. Magic can be equated to witchcraft, hoodoo, voodoo, all those things. I don't care how much these things are cultural aspects. Just because they're in a culture does not make them of God or of the power of the Most High in His majesty and the liberty of the freedom that He gives us to be human beings created in His image. Doesn't give us that okay for that, not that push. This is interesting because when this stuff was written, it was written with the knowledge not of the future, but the knowledge of the time that they were living in. It says here, "Do not abort a fetus or kill a child that is born." Ooh, I know I'm going to get some emails on this one. Abortion is not the original plan of the Most High. Absolutely not. There are circumstances medically where to save one, the child or the mother, there are things medically necessary. But to randomly go around out here and get pregnant and get abortions, that has never been the will of the Most High. Never. So we don't need to get into the habit and push of that. Isn't that funny that that is in this document? Because that lets me know that during the time of the apostles, there were people that were doing the brutal procedure of that. So it lets me know they were actually doing it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to find the history and bring it to you so I can explain it a whole lot better. But the Most High does not justify random things such as abortion. Never has. Never has. Wow. Y'all still with me out there? Woo. Verse number 3, do not desire what belongs to your neighbor. Do not commit perjury. In other words, lying after the fact when you swore on an oath that is true. That's perjury. Do not give false testimony. The entire body of Messiah needs to hear that. Do not give false testimony. Wow. Woo wee, what did I just say? Do not speak insults. Do not bear grudges. Now, mind you, I didn't write this. This was written by the apostles that walked with the Messiah. These are some of the standards that they did and did not put up with. Wow. Verse number 4. Do not be of two minds or speak from both sides of your mouth. For speaking from both sides of your mouth is a deadly trap. It's a deadly trap. Your word must not be empty or false. Do not be greedy. Okay? Do not be greedy or extra greedy or repetitious with it. Don't be hypocritical, spiteful, or haughty. Do not entertain a wicked plot against your neighbor. Do not hate anyone, but reprove some. Pray for others and love still others more than yourself. Wow. Wow. Because I know a lot of people are going to be like, what is he reading from? Where is he getting this from? It's called the Diakathy, the teaching of the 12. Okay. Again, these are some of the standards and instructions that the apostles who were left after Christ wrote to the church that had already gotten started. And these are the standards that they were saying, this is what you live by. These are what we want you to walk by. Now, I know reading this document is not going to get me a lot of play. And a whole lot of folks ain't going to be jumping up and down ready to give me money or anything like that. But what I do hope from us going into this is that we reevaluate the character that we stand in before we think about prophesying to someone. Help me, somebody. Because it makes it it's a difference when you know that there's a value system into everything that you do. There are two paths in this thing that we call the universe. There is life, and then there is death. And because there's life and there's death, we do not have time to mess around with non-congenial things, or in other words, let me break that down, things that don't matter in your life. People that do not matter in your life. It is time for us to pull away from the insignificant things and pull into things of beneficial martyr for our life. I'm gonna tell you something. You should never deal with anyone unless there's a benefit. Now, some people may say, oh, that's usury. No, it's not. That's purpose. You have to know the perspective of your purpose. Trying to help y'all out here. Knowing the perspective of your purpose puts you in a whole nother diadem of the future. Your future can only be counted as fast as you understand it, or as we say in the spiritual world, as you manifest it. Because manifestation is a major part of the next level of understanding. Help me, somebody. The next level of understanding. Now, if you have questions, I don't know where you're watching me, what platform you're watching me on, because I believe we're on 5 different platforms. So just put your question or your comment in the chat. I will do my best to read it and try to give you an answer to what it is that you're looking for in this particular teaching. I want to try to help some of y'all as much as I can. And the only way I can do that is you guys going to have to help me with questions and different understandings. Maybe I think I just got one. Not sure. I'm going to look. I am going to access my Facebook here in a few minutes so that I can see what you guys are talking about. Yeah, but the two paths of life are so. I mean, we really don't pay it that much attention, especially if we claim the prophetic. Because for some odd reason, when we talk about the prophetic, people actually feel untouchable. They feel untouchable. Okay. Not only do they feel untouchable, but they feel as though they are divine. See, that was the whole argument when we started talking about the Council of Nicaea and when the Bible was put together. You had a lot of human beings that felt they were divine. So, because they felt they were divine and that they were untouchable, this caused a situation in putting together the contemplation of the Bible. There are some people that do not trust the Bible because of the men that put it together. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Bible, whether you're reading the 66 books or whether you are reading a contemplation part of the Bible, which are the different books that were not added into the canon. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you reading that stuff. Don't let anyone tell you there's something wrong with you reading that. But where the problem comes in at, and help me, Father, on this one, it is when people read it and have a superior attitude over those that have never heard of it before. Or can I talk about that? They have a superior attitude instead of having a revelatory spirit to manifest truth to the people. See, I don't care what anybody does or says. My mission is to give a revelatory truth so that it can manifest the personality and gift of an individual and what they walk in. Hey, when I ordain people, now, mind you, I've made some mistakes in the ordinations. Let me not say here that I get it right all the time, because you have to understand I have a fleshly mind, I have emotions, I have feelings. So some things are moved by that. But you learn from experience how to tighten that up and get it right. Hello, somebody. Military stance, if you will. Military stance. We've got to tighten it up, buckle up, and get it right. Two different ways. Two different ways of life. Two different ways. I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying to you. Two different ways. Life, and then there's death. And then you have all the in betweens that you're not supposed to do. Sounds familiar, don't it? Sounds like an overshadow of the Ten Commandments of Moshe. That's basically what we're looking at when we look at chapter number 2 of the Diakathy. We're looking at an overlay and a confirmation of the Torah, of the law, of the instructions of Moshe. That's what we're dealing with here. We are not dealing with some brand new stuff. See, I'm very careful in my study and in my prognosis of certain things, because if it said something opposite to what the Most High Yah is saying, then I would automatically know from rip that's not from the Most High. Because everything he does, whether it's an expression or computation, matches all of what he has said or is saying. Huh. It's matching. So God ain't never going to contradict himself. In other words, he's never going to contradict himself. He's never going to write one thing and then change another thing. That's not the type of God we serve. He is a order-driven, order-rehearsed, order-coerced type of God. And those of you that think you can get out of order with God, you got another thing coming. Because he instructed us to do everything in decency and in order. He never gave us the okay to create or write our own instruct. Everything that we do has been inspired by his spirit, which is the only way of connection to the human flesh. It's the only way. We can't even go into the soulish realm without going into the spirit realm. Oh, I'm talking now. There's a lot of people that have went over to the other side and seen other things because they have tapped into the soulish realm. How do you do that? You have to tap into and be filled with the Holy Spirit in order to go to that side. Remember, when Yahusha, when Yeshua, Jesus, brought the two disciples, two apostles with him up on the mountain. And Messiah was praying and they saw two people. Some people say it was Enoch and Elijah. There's other names that people have given into that. But he did not tap into a spirit of Elijah or Enoch. He went into the outer banks, which is the soulish realm, the outer banks of the soulish realm, because in three-dimensional harmony, what we are existing on and living in had already been done in that three-dimensional portal. That's why it became prophecy, because in the natural sense of metaphysics, it had already happened. It had already happened. So what we are doing, this is the reason why you got to be careful when people prophesy to you. Okay? Because prophecy is a fulfillment of a portal, a dimension where things have already happened. Oh, I want somebody to feel good about that. What's been promised to you is going to happen. What has been spoken over you, it is already done. It is already done. So the dimension that you're looking for is beyond your understanding, because he's not blessing you for you. He's blessing you for him and to fulfill his word. Whew. Messiah said it better than anybody else. He said, I did not come to destroy the law, but I came to fulfill it. To fulfill it. When you come to fulfill something, that means that you understand the order that it operates in. Let me speak to the false prophets out there. You're getting away with it now. But when someone decides to pick up the book and read it and try to put things in place, you, sir, you, ma'am, will be revealed and will be placed out of a position, because we are looking at a dimensional situation and you don't fit it because you wasn't there. Woo, I can't get no help up in here. You don't fit it because you was not there. You wasn't there. Help me, somebody. But if you was there, then every word that you speak will match the actions of the power of the Most High through dreams and through visions. I'm trying to help you through through the emasculation of the spirit. He has now come to the point of answering your every prayer. It may take a minute for the prayer to get there. It may take a whole hot minute for the prayer to get there, or the release of the prayer. It's going to take a while. But once it gets there, there is no turning back. There is no repercussions for it. None. Because now is the season that those things have to happen. Two paths, life or death. Help me, somebody. Two paths, life or death. I'm trying my best not to keep y'all but so long, because I understand the attention span of the human mind. And we've almost reached to the point of that. So I'm not going to take you that much further, because I can always come back and do more, and you'll listen and you'll come back. Listen, right up under the screen, up under my name, are the ways to give financially to what we do. I don't know why people think that we don't need finances, because we do, in order to run the operation of ministry. You can go to PayPal. Type in PayPal.me / Dawn of Prophecy 777 three sevens. Or you can go to the Cash App. Go to the Cash App, hit the $, type in Chief Apostle Kepha. Kepha is spelled Kepha. We are very appreciative of however, whenever. We're just trying to stay on the air to be able to do all of these things that we're doing. It's very important that we use modern technology and pay for it in order to stay afloat to do what we have to do. All right. I said at the end of the program I was going to give another shout out to Apostle Jay Burton and to Prophetess Lisa Burton. They've been my ride or dies from day one. We want to bless them some kind of way. Um, they are on Facebook. You can look them up, and the next time I'm on, I will have everything I need because unfortunately it's just me by myself, so I didn't have everything ready. And I want you guys to follow them on the days of their teaching and especially on Sabbath because they are on Sabbath, especially. But we'll have more information about that later, hopefully, when I'm a little bit more organized here. And I thank you all for coming on as much as you are. Elder Bonita Lucas, shout out to her, been my best friend for life and she's been sticking with me in ministry, and we've been working together. Myself and Elder Bonita will be doing some programs via her Facebook access, and I can't wait to be a part of those programs and prophetically be keen into that which she has been called to do. That's what I do, people. Boost people up, get them where they need to go. All right. I don't see any questions or anything like that, and I'm sure people got a lot of comments. Thank you, all the people that are watching on Facebook and YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. Thank you all for thinking it not robbery to be with us today. We've had technical difficulties in the past, and I'm working on a lot of that stuff to make sure that stuff doesn't happen anymore. But always remember Sunday, we have a slam dunk with guests, and we pick a topic and we just talk about it. We let the Holy Spirit have his way, and we do the best that we can. All right, time is up, and I'm going to get out of here. I love every last one of you that are watching and that you are able to see what it is that we do. The School of Eschatology is a brainchild of the Holy Spirit. It exists for the sole purpose of preparing you for the kingdom. And we love when somebody loves us. I want to say shalom and blessings to you tonight. I'll catch you probably on the next program, which will be more than likely on tomorrow.